So this is from Mike in San Francisco, and he says, uh, Mike says, what's the permitting process for a home remodel in Oahu? How much time does it take to obtain a permit? And are there any hoops to jump through? What is the range of cost per square foot for remodeling? So, Scott, how would you kind of answer those sort of series of questions from Mike in San Francisco about that?
Yeah, great questions. And I do have the construction background, so this is perfect. I love answering.
In
this.
fact, you're working on a project right now.
Yeah.
You sent us a video. We should have clipped it, but yeah, right.
Yeah. So from a home remodel standpoint, way easier for permitting. Anytime you do electrical and plumbing, you're required to have a licensed electrician and a licensed plumber do the work. Now, if you're doing plumbing and electrical work, it's easy to get those permits where there's modifications, because essentially the plumber or the electrician goes online and pays for it immediately. They can get the permit, and it's usually not too expensive, maybe around $500. And then they can go ahead and straight do the work. A building inspector will come out, or an electrical or plumbing inspector will come out at some point, or they don't, or they just sign off on it if it's fairly minor. That's easy. If you get into a standard remodel on a home on the interior, where you're replacing the kitchen with a kitchen, replacing flooring with like-kind flooring, you aren't required to get a permit, and the companies will just come in and do the work. If you're doing a significant redesign, blowing out, well, let's not even get into blowing out a wall, but if you're changing up the kitchen in a significant way, you're supposed to get a permit. That could take about 2 to 3 months, because you're having to do drawings, but it's an easier process of submitting those plans. Anything on the exterior of the building, meaning siding, windows, or doors, you have to go through a permitting process. You're going to have drawings done and submit. That's a 2 to 3 month process. When you get into structural, or you start making alterations or additions, now you're going the full-blown route, where you're going to have to submit, and you're looking at a 6 to 9 month permitting process. As far as cost per square foot, you can get remodels done $80 a square foot up to about $200 a square foot. You can go beyond that, depending on, it's all about your material finishes at that point. But you're roughly 80 to 200. If you're just doing a standard remodel, 80 to 125 bucks a square foot shouldn't be too difficult. Should be fairly easy.
Excellent. That's it's kind of, it's kind of fun, Scott, frankly, to send these questions and kind of hear you sort of like rattle off all the answers. There's definitely sort of an expert, a guy you've been doing this for 20 years now, right? So it's kind of fun to kind of see that. It's always fun to see expertise at work. It really is.
Yeah, to give people a perspective, because I love learning and I love real estate. So I'm constantly, before my second development project, I had 13 construction books sitting on the side of my bedside table. And in under 9 months, I read through every one of them because it's diving in, it's needing to know this stuff. And then you put a fire hose on the end of that construction project, from learning, from being out there, from doing framing, from doing foundation work. And that's the kind of thing that I do. And where it does is it translates over here on the real estate side, to where I not only have guys, but I also have the expertise now to be able to tell you, this is how this is done. This is what needs to be done. This is how long it's going to take you, which helps the consumer.
Yeah, definitely. Excellent.